Sometimes in the GMAT, you need to calculate multiple percentage increases and decreases in a row. And here, the common mistake people tend to make is that they think that they can just add and subtract these different percentage changes. So, for example, a lot of people, when they think about a question like this, so if something increases by 50% and then decreases by 50%, often people will think that that is just going to go back to its original amount, right? Whereas actually, in reality, it's not the case. So let's think about this in steps. So we first apply the 50% increase. So what that means is that we're going to do 1.5 times the original amount. Now, afterwards, we want to decrease that by 50%. So what do we do? Well, we take that new amount, which is 1.5 times the original amount, and we multiply that by 0.5. Remember, 50% decrease is like doing 1 minus 0.5, so that's the same as 0.5. But if we calculate this 0.5 times 1.5, we're going to get 0.75. So actually, we're not going to go back to the original amount, but we're going to go back to 0.75 of the original amount, or 75% of the original amount. And so that is actually translating to overall a 25% decrease. Why is that the case? Well, it's because since we apply the 50% decrease afterwards, we first increase the size of the pie, and therefore when we're going to take 50% of that, there's more pie to take of it. And therefore when we're subtracting something, it's going to be more than what we added in the first instance. So overall, we're going to end up with less than what we started with. Now, let's see another example with a specific number this time. And in this case, we're going to be increasing twice that number. So let's say we start with 100 and we want to increase it by 10% and then by 20%. So first we multiply it by 1.1. That's the 10% increase, and we get 110. Then we take that new number and we increase it by 20%, so we multiply that by 1.2. And if you do the math, you will get 132 from that. And 132 is actually 32% more than the initial amount. So here again, we've increased by 10% and then by 20%. The equivalent of that is not 10 plus 20% increase. So it's not a 30% increase, but it's actually a bit more than that. Why? Because we've increased in the first step the pie, and therefore when we take 10% of that, it's more than 10% of the original amount. So we're factoring that in via this calculation.